Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Emily Hart, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that affects millions of men, especially as they get older: prostate enlargement. Now, I know this isn't the most comfortable topic to discuss, but it's incredibly important. And here's the good news. There's one particular fruit that research suggests might actually help reduce prostate enlargement naturally. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this fruit is, why it works, and how to incorporate it into your daily routine. Let me start by explaining what we're dealing with here. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, that sits just below the bladder in men. Its main job is to produce fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. Now, as men age, it's extremely common for the prostate to grow larger. This condition is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short. The word benign means it's not cancerous, but that doesn't mean it's not problematic. When the prostate enlarges, it can press against the urethra, which is the tube that carries urine out of your body. This pressure creates all sorts of uncomfortable symptoms. We're talking about frequent urination, especially at night, difficulty starting urination, a weak urine stream, the feeling that your bladder isn't completely empty, and sometimes even urinary tract infections. These symptoms can seriously impact quality of life. Imagine waking up 4 or 5 times every night to use the bathroom. That alone can lead to fatigue, irritability, and a whole cascade of health issues. By age 60, about half of all men will have some degree of prostate enlargement. By age 85, that number jumps to 90%. So this is not some rare condition. It's something that most men will face at some point in their lives. The question is, what can we do about it? Now, there are medications available, and in severe cases, surgical options. But what if I told you that making simple dietary changes could potentially help manage this condition? What if there was a fruit, something you could easily add to your diet, that might help reduce inflammation, support prostate health, and alleviate some of these uncomfortable symptoms? That fruit is the tomato. Yes, the humble tomato. Now, before you think this sounds too simple to be true, let me explain the science behind this. Tomatoes are incredibly rich in a compound called lycopene. Lycopene is a carotenoid, which is a type of pigment that gives tomatoes their red color. But lycopene isn't just about color. It's one of the most powerful antioxidants we know of. Antioxidants are substances that protect your cells from damage caused by free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that can cause oxidative stress, which is linked to inflammation, aging, and various diseases, including prostate problems. Here's where it gets really interesting. Multiple studies have shown that lycopene accumulates in prostate tissue. In fact, the prostate has some of the highest concentrations of lycopene in the entire body. This isn't a coincidence. Researchers believe that lycopene plays a protective role specifically in prostate health. Let me share some of the research with you. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that men who consumed higher amounts of lycopene had significantly smaller prostates compared to men with lower lycopene intake. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that lycopene supplementation reduced PSA levels. PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen, and it's a marker that doctors use to assess prostate health. Elevated PSA levels can indicate prostate enlargement or other issues. But perhaps most compelling is a systematic review that looked at multiple studies involving thousands of men. The researchers concluded that higher lycopene intake was associated with a reduced risk of prostate problems, including BPH. The evidence is really quite substantial. So how does lycopene actually work? Well, it appears to work through several mechanisms. First, it reduces oxidative stress in prostate tissue. Remember, oxidative stress can damage cells and promote inflammation. By neutralizing free radicals, lycopene helps protect prostate cells from damage. Second, lycopene has anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation is a major contributor to prostate enlargement. By reducing inflammation, lycopene helps keep the prostate at a healthier size. Third, some research suggests that lycopene may influence hormone metabolism, particularly hormones like testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, which play a role in prostate growth. Now you might be wondering, how much lycopene do I need, and how many tomatoes should I eat? Great questions. The research suggests that consuming about 15 to 30 milligrams of lycopene per day may provide prostate health benefits. To put that in perspective, one medium raw tomato contains about 3 to 4 milligrams of lycopene, so you'd need to eat several tomatoes daily to reach that therapeutic range. But here's a really important tip. Cooking tomatoes actually increases the bioavailability of lycopene. When tomatoes are heated, the cell walls break down, making it easier for your body to absorb the lycopene. In fact, cooked tomatoes can have up to 3 times more bioavailable lycopene than raw ones. This is great news because it means tomato sauce, tomato paste, and cooked tomato dishes are actually even better sources than fresh tomatoes. And there's more. Lycopene is fat-soluble, which means it's absorbed much better when consumed with some healthy fat. So when you're eating tomatoes or tomato-based dishes, try to include a source of healthy fat like olive oil, avocado, nuts, or fatty fish. A classic example is a Mediterranean-style tomato sauce made with olive oil. This combination gives you maximum lycopene absorption. Let me give you some practical ways to incorporate more tomatoes into your diet. Start your day with scrambled eggs, cooked with fresh tomatoes and a drizzle of olive oil. For lunch, have a big salad with cherry tomatoes and an olive oil-based dressing. For dinner, enjoy a pasta dish with homemade tomato sauce, or try a tomato-based soup like minestrone or gazpacho. You can also snack on sun-dried tomatoes, which are incredibly concentrated in lycopene. Even a simple bruschetta with tomatoes, garlic, basil, and olive oil on whole-grain bread makes a fantastic prostate-healthy snack. If you're not a fan of tomatoes, or if you find it difficult to consume enough through diet alone, lycopene supplements are available. However, I always recommend getting nutrients from whole foods when possible, because foods contain a complex mix of beneficial compounds that work together synergistically. But if you do choose to supplement, look for a high-quality product and consult with your healthcare provider about the appropriate dosage. Now, I want to be clear about something. While tomatoes and lycopene show real promise for prostate health, they're not a magic cure. Prostate enlargement is a complex condition influenced by multiple factors, including genetics, hormones, inflammation, and overall lifestyle. So while adding tomatoes to your diet is definitely beneficial, it should be part of a comprehensive approach to prostate health. What else should you be doing? Well, maintaining a healthy weight is crucial. Obesity is strongly linked to prostate enlargement. Regular exercise, particularly cardiovascular exercise and strength training, can help reduce inflammation and improve hormonal balance. Managing stress is also important because chronic stress contributes to inflammation throughout the body. Getting adequate sleep allows your body to repair and regenerate. And staying hydrated is essential, though you might want to limit fluids in the evening if nighttime urination is a problem for you. Let's talk about other dietary factors. Beyond tomatoes, there are several other foods that support prostate health. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts contain compounds that may help regulate hormone metabolism. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines provide omega-3 fatty acids, which are powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Pumpkin seeds and Brazil nuts are excellent sources of zinc and selenium, minerals that are important for prostate function. Green tea contains polyphenols that have been studied for their potential benefits in prostate health. And berries, particularly strawberries and cranberries, offer additional antioxidants that complement the effects of lycopene. On the flip side, there are foods you might want to limit. High intake of red meat and processed meats has been associated with increased prostate problems. Excessive dairy consumption may also be problematic for some men. Alcohol and caffeine can irritate the bladder and worsen urinary symptoms. And refined carbohydrates and sugary foods promote inflammation and should be minimized. I also want to address something important: the difference between BPH and prostate cancer. These are separate conditions. BPH is benign, meaning it's not cancer and doesn't increase your risk of cancer. However, the symptoms can sometimes overlap. If you've already been diagnosed with BPH, adding tomatoes to your diet can complement your existing treatment plan. It's not about replacing your medications or ignoring your doctor's advice. It's about taking a proactive, integrative approach that combines conventional medical care with evidence-based dietary strategies. Let me share a patient story with you. I had a patient, let's call him Robert, who came to see me in his early 60s. He was frustrated because he was waking up 5 times a night to urinate. He was exhausted, irritable, and his quality of life had really deteriorated. His doctor had diagnosed him with BPH and offered medication, but Robert wanted to try lifestyle changes first. We worked together to overhaul his diet. He started eating tomato-based dishes almost daily, increased his vegetable intake, added more fish, cut back on red meat and alcohol, and started exercising regularly. Within 3 months, he was down to waking up once or twice a night instead of 5 times. His energy improved, his mood brightened, and while he eventually did start a low-dose medication as well, the dietary changes made a tremendous difference in his symptoms and overall well-being. Stories like Robert's remind me why I'm so passionate about the power of food as medicine. Our bodies have an incredible capacity to heal and regulate themselves when we provide them with the right nutrients. Lycopene from tomatoes is just one example of how simple, accessible foods can have profound effects on our health. Before we wrap up, let me summarize the key takeaways. Prostate enlargement affects the majority of men as they age. It's not cancer, but it can significantly impact quality of life. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that accumulates in prostate tissue and has been shown in multiple studies to support prostate health and potentially reduce enlargement. Cooking tomatoes and consuming them with healthy fats maximizes lycopene absorption. Aim for tomato-based dishes several times per week. Combine this dietary approach with other healthy lifestyle habits like maintaining a healthy weight, exercising regularly, managing stress, and getting enough sleep. And always work with your healthcare provider to monitor your prostate health and determine the best treatment approach for your individual situation. I hope this video has given you valuable, actionable information. Prostate health doesn't have to be a taboo topic, and you don't have to feel helpless about age-related changes. Simple dietary additions like tomatoes can make a real difference. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more evidence-based health content. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you regularly eat tomatoes? What's your favorite way to prepare them? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, small changes can lead to big improvements in your health. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Which is why it's absolutely essential to see your doctor if you're experiencing urinary symptoms. Your doctor can perform tests to determine whether you have BPH, prostate cancer, or something else entirely. Regular screening is important, especially for men over 50 or those with a family history of prostate problems.